Back here for the divisional round of the playoffs in the NFL season. We got 4 magnificent games to preview and predict this week. 8 teams left competing for that Lombardi Trophy. But first here we have to recap the weekend that was. 6 games in Super Wildcard Weekend here. So let's get to the betting locks. First here, we had a great game, Raiders at Bengals. I took the Raiders plus 210 money line, and I stand by it. I think it was the right play here. Raiders fought till the end. They were down for basically all of the game, but they had a chance. They were in goal with a few seconds remaining, and on 4th down, Derek Carr unfortunately tries to fire it in, throws a pick. They were fighting the entire game. It was just really the Raiders defense had no answers for Joey B and Jamar Chase there. Raiders defense ultimately did them in, but they were fighting all game, and they almost came back to force overtime. That would have been electric, but the Bengals win by 7 there. Next, we had the Niners at the Cowboys, plus 140. To be honest here, I think the Niners could have been favored in this game, even though it's in Dallas. I mean, you see, it was 23-7, in utter domination for the first 3 quarters of the game. Then there were some fluke plays in the 4th quarter. They had a masterful fake punt, and then Jimmy Garoppolo just threw them a bone in the 4th quarter as well. So it was 23-17. Dak and the Cowboys had 2 drives to win the game. The first one, they turned it over on downs. The second one, they were on the 24-yard line when the time ran out. Couldn't get that final spike off for a Hail Mary chance. But the Niners, better team for 3 quarters of the game. They deserve to win, plus 140 on the money line. Get that little extra value there. Then Steelers-Chiefs had the under 47. Thought it was a lock because I did not think the Steelers could get to 20 points. And they did. They got to 21, actually, and they only had really 1 genuine touchdown. That was the freak play where the defense scored a touchdown. TJ Watt got in the end zone. But after that, it was all window dressing. But the Chiefs, I mean, they did whatever they wanted. They scored, I think, 5 consecutive times on this Steelers defense. So Patrick Mahomes, 400 yards, 5 touchdowns. He just had an excellent day there against the Steelers defense. But we made up for it on Monday Night Football with the Rams minus 3 in the hook against the Cardinals. And it's not even so much that the Rams played well in this game. It's that the Cardinals were not ready at all to play. I'm going to put the blame on Kingsbury and Kyler and also the Cardinals defense. I mean, Kingsbury's got to get them ready to play, got to get them amped to go against a division rival. But Kyler Murray, I know he was getting harassed all day by that great Rams front 7, but just some of the decisions in this game were terrible, including the pick 6 in the end zone. You just got to take the safety at that point. So in playoff football, you just can't make the mistakes that he did, and this wasn't even a game. I thought it would be much more entertaining there. But we get the Rams minus 3.5. Stafford looks good in his first playoff game with the Rams. So that brings us to our betting locks record. We were plus 0.3 units on wildcard weekend, pretty good. Betting locks plus 23.7 units with 3 weeks left in the NFL season. I want to get up to 30 units. It's going to be tough, but I think we can. Then on the wildcard game picks, we went 5-1 there, pretty good, which brings us to 172 and 91 on the season, 65% overall. Paul's pick of the week hit. He had the Bucs beating the Eagles. They destroyed the Eagles and Jalen Hurts there, so he gets up to 10-6 on the year. And just as a reminder, Paul will be calling the Bills at Chiefs this week. First, here we get to the Saturday games. I have my first betting lock on the Bengals at the Titans. In this game, I'm taking the Titans minus the 3 points. I know there's going to be a lot of recency bias in this game because we haven't seen the Titans play in a couple of weeks. So a lot of people are going to be jumping on the Bengals because they showed what they're capable of against the Raiders. But simply put, I think this Titans defense a lot better than it was last season. And I think their D-line is going to get to Joe Burrow much better than the Raiders D-line was able to get after him. And I think Danico Autry, Jeffrey Simmons going to have some big days. And Titans secondary and linebacking core is very good as well. So I think they're going to be able to maybe slow down Jamar Chase. But it really comes down to the Titans offense. And the King Henry is back in action for this one. He might be on a little bit of a snap count. But in the playoffs, I expect to see a lot of them here. And then you finally get A.J. Brown and Julio Jones back. Tannehill, I think he's going to manage the game well. Titans at home. They earned the number 1 overall seed. Their O-line is healthy. I think the Titans get this one. I'm only laying 3 points, so basically just taking them to win the game. Give me the Titans here at home minus the 3. Next game, we got the Niners at the Packers. These two teams have some history. Give me the Niners plus 200. I love the value in this game. I couldn't fault you for taking Aaron Rodgers in the Packers at home in a playoff game. But the Niners are 3-0 straight up against Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs. Aaron Rodgers just hasn't looked like himself in the playoffs these last few years, ever since he won that Super Bowl. And he's coming off of his second straight MVP season, so I think he's going to do a number against this Niners defense. Their secondary is the weak link on their defense. I mean, you saw, even after Nick Bosa got hurt, their D-line was still eating against the great Cowboys O-line. So they're going to get pressure on Aaron Rodgers. Their linebacking core is still great. I think Fred Warner's going to come back. And I think Azeez Al-Shire and Dre Greenlaw are going to do well in the middle. But just Ambry Thomas, K'Wan Williams, Jimmy Ward on the back end, they're just not good enough right now. I think Devontae Adams is going to have a big day. I don't think the Packers will be able to run the ball very well, but it doesn't really matter. Aaron Rodgers in the cold, he's going to be slinging it. And then Jimmy Garoppolo, I think he's going to have a much better game against the Packers than he did against the Cowboys. He's playing for his job next year on another team, trying to get his value up and trying to lead this Niners team to a victory. The Packers, I know they were terrible against the run a couple years ago. They're not much better at defending it. Remember on Christmas Day, Nick Chubb averaged 8 yards a carry against them. So I think Deebo Samuel and Mitchell, they're going to average at least 6 yards a carry on this Packers defense, and I think that's going to carry the Niners to a win. Jimmy Garoppolo just needs to not throw any picks, maybe a couple touchdowns there, and the Niners cook up an upset in Lambeau Field. Love the value at plus 200. Now we get to the Sunday contests, and first here we get to the Rams and the Bucks. Electric matchup here, and give me the Rams plus 140. Great value here. These two teams already played in week 3. Granted, much different circumstances. It was in LA, but the Rams won 34-24 in that game, and I think we see something similar here. I think McVay is going to dial up a great game plan against this Bucks defense. They're dealing with a couple injuries. And in the secondary, I think Stafford's going to have a great game. He's going to have to play a lot better than he did. He's going to have a lot more pressure on him than he did against the Cardinals, but I think he will be able to deliver. He delivered in week 3. And I think they will be able to run the ball somewhat against this Bucks defense with Sony Michel and Cam Akers there. And then it comes down to the Rams defense, and I think Aaron Donald is going to eat. The Bucks were dealing with a couple injuries on their O-line. In the week 3 game, the big thing was that Tom Brady was the leading rusher in that game. And Leonard Fournette, it's not looking good for him. I think he's going to be out for another week here. And the Bucks already don't have many weapons on the outside. So I think the Rams get the upset here. I think they're going to do just enough. I think this one comes down to a late field goal. But give me the Rams to get the upset in Tampa Bay. Again, could go either way. But I like Stafford to have a great game and beat the Bucks there. Now we get to the Bills at the Chiefs, and Paul is on the call.
All right, boys, we are back with my pick of the week. We got 4 great divisional round football games. It's going to be a lot better than what we saw wild card weekend. A lot of blowouts, but we got the Chiefs and the Bills. We got Mahomes versus Josh Allen. We have seen this story before. The AFC Championship last year. Nobody had an answer for Mahomes at that time. He was incredible, and the game was over when it started. But a lot has changed since then. A lot has changed since that Super Bowl when Todd Bowles basically said, too high safety, we're just going to let you run the ball. And Mahomes has not had an answer for that. We saw in the beginning of the season, the Bills blew out Mahomes. They have built their team to beat him. They drafted 2 DNs in the first 2 rounds, Greg Rousseau and Boogie Basham, and we saw how that played out in the beginning of the season. But Mahomes has changed. The Chiefs have changed a lot since then. Mahomes is running the ball. He's got a more balanced offense. I've said this in earlier videos. They look a lot better and they look a lot more balanced, and their defense is getting after the quarterback. Their secondary, still a little iffy, but they look a lot better, and they blew out the Steelers. And the Bills are coming off a great win against the Patriots. They also just completely blew out the Patriots. They had no answer offensively or defensively against the Bills. So, with all that being said, this game is going to come down to the wire, and I have the Bills by 3. Their team, like I said, is built to beat Mahomes, and Josh Allen is looking really dynamic. You saw him against the Patriots. He was incredible. I don't know how they're going to stop him throwing the ball and running the ball like he did against the Patriots. It's going to come down to what Mahomes can do against this defense, and I think this defense is built to beat him. It's going to be a lot closer than the regular season game, but my pick of the week, I got the Bills by 3.
So that's going to do it on the divisional round game predictions and betting locks. Please let me know your predictions and betting locks in the comments down below. As always, be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.